We should be starting now. All right. What's up, swimmers and swammers? This is the 2023 World Championships SwimSwam preview for the men's side. We are going top to bottom, event by event, and giving you our thoughts on the breakdown of how each event will go, what the medal podium will look like. We did this for the women. We're doing it for the men now. So commenters, if you're out there, bring your questions, bring your thoughts, give us your thoughts. We'll throw them up as we're going through. And without further ado, let's start with the men's 50 freestyle. YanYan, go ahead and get us started. What do you think about this race?
I like Ben Proud as the winner. He's been very consistent over the last year. Only 0.05 of a second off of Manidu's. His season best last year was only a few hundredths of a second off of not Matt Manidu, Cam McAvoy's world leading time. I'm not really sure if Cam McAvoy is gonna replicate what he swam at trials at Worlds. He's had a history of swimming considerably faster at trials than he does at Worlds. So I don't think he'll be 21-2. I still think he's going to be on the podium. I have him for silver. And then in bronze, I have Florent Manidu.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the comments. Someone said, how badly will Ben get beat this year? And I thought he was talking about Ben Proud. And then he clarified and said, I mean, Ben Dornan in the fantasy draft, which is coming on Thursday. So stay tuned. SwimSwam fantasy draft will drop on Thursday for everyone watching. All right, sorry, back to the 50 free. Ben Proud seems like a solid guess on paper. I'm not sure if he's like burnt out from last year.
How he burnt out? He only swims 50s.
Because he swam like a bazillion meets. He swam 4 championship meets in like 6 months, which is a lot. And I feel like you can still get burnt out on 50s. Florent Manidu got burnt out on 50s.
He still held it together and had a solid 6-month break after that from competitions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just like how long can Ben Proud keep this going? Although there don't appear to be a ton of new challengers.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Cam McAvoy, Florent Manidu's been 21.5 this year, so it's kind of like how far can he drop down? But other than that, you've got Ryan Held, who's been 21.5, and then
Leando's been 21.6.
No, I'm talking about this season. Leando's lifetime best 21.6, but like everyone else is 21.7 to 21.9 this season. So I guess we'll see on the taper. I would love to see Ryan Held get on the podium. I feel like he has a solid shot too. We've never seen him do an international double taper for a long course meet. So I think that'll be really interesting to see. Sorry, and swim an individual event.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see how he reacts to that. Who do I think is going to win? The men's side is so hard.
Yeah.
I feel like the women's side is so much easier. I don't know. I'll go with, I don't want to say Ben Proud. I'm going to say Cam McAvoy. I think Japan's close to Australia. I think he's rejuvenated. He's had a great season so far. That 21.4 in finals at Australian trials scares me, but I'm going to go with Cam McAvoy because he's got the fastest season best and he's having fun with swimming. And that's when people swim their fastest, I suppose. All right. To me, a much more intriguing event, the 100 freestyle.
Yep. It's very interesting. There's a lot of people that think Chalmers can get the upset in this one. I still think it's going to be Popovich winning. but I have Chalmers in second, and I like Josh Leendo for bronze. I think the thing with Popovich is that a lot of people are worried about the whole he struggles in the wake of swimmers that are bigger than him in size. And Chalmers is one of those swimmers, and he's never gone head to head with someone like Kyle Chalmers and won. So that's the thing. If he wants to win, he needs to. I'm talking about Popovich. If he wants to win, I think he needs to make sure he's not too far behind at the 50. When he broke the world record, he was in first at the 50. But then last year at Worlds, there were a lot of people that went out much faster than him, like Leendo, and he still beat them, but it was in a pretty slow time by his standards. So I think I still have Popovich winning. I just don't think you can bet against an 18-year-old world record holder. But yeah, it's definitely going to be close. Someone mentioned Kyle's a second 50 swimmer, just like David. I wasn't really talking about Kyle in terms of people that go out really fast. I think swimmers like Leendo are going to take it out faster than Popovich. And I do think it would be really interesting to see Popovich and Kyle Chalmers go head to head because they're both back half swimmers. It's Popovich is a little bit faster on the back half compared to Chalmers. So it's sort of going to be like Chalmers is running everyone down, but then can Popovich run Chalmers down? And I like Leendo for bronze more than some of the other people that are faster than him. I think maybe the only other person that I think could beat him for bronze is Pan Janle from China. But I like Liendo's chances of going faster at Worlds than Pan because Pan, obviously, with Chinese swimmers, Worlds isn't their priority meet. And I do think Leendo has more in him from trials. He dropped the second in the one fly, but didn't PB in the one free. So I think he is and he's gotten really good at the 100 free short course. So I think he's gonna have a breakout swim. So those are my takes on the one free.
Has China stated that like Worlds is not their focus meet?
I have no idea, I'm gonna be honest, but it's just something that we've talked about in articles, and it's something that commenters have also said.
But we don't so that so we don't have clarification on that though. Like,
but
we're just assuming
Asian games, yeah, the Asian games are just it's sort of like the Commonwealth Games last year. The Asian
Right.
games are much more like high profile than Worlds, and if you get a lot of hardware there or go fast, then it's gonna get more attention.
Yeah, I mean that, which makes sense, but it's also a world champs in Asia, which would seem to me like, I don't know. Yeah, right. I get it. Asian games are important to Asia, which as they should be. I'm just curious if China is actually taking like a more Australian approach, that like Australia did last year, of we're going to Worlds, or like some of us are going to Worlds, but that's not our main meet. Alexi for the win. That would be a lot. If Jack Alexi won the 100 free, that would be insane. And whoever puts that on their pick'em would get a lot of points where no one else would. I mean, the 100 free final is such a high pressure environment. I think Kyle. So it's interesting. I don't think Kyle and David, as we said, they're both second 50 swimmers. So it's not like, I don't think either one is going to be out like way ahead of the other.
Yeah.
Because they swim their races very similarly. I mean, depending on what kind of spot they're in, you know, we might see David go out fast just because he's really on form and go 46.8 or 46.7. Or, you know, maybe, I mean, their PBs are 0.2 apart. You know, it's very possible that they're in a similar spot. And it'd really be interesting to see if one of them kind of games it and doesn't stick to their normal guns. but
Yeah.
it's and historically they are both so mentally strong, right?
Yes.
They hang their
Very
hat
consistent.
on the second 50. I mean, Kyle can run nearly anyone down, and David Popovich is just his mind is a steel trap. You know, he's to this point he seems pretty unshakable.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a really good race. I also think it's hard to gauge where some swimmers are at. Being in the United States, we just see the US swimmers race so much more than we do some of the international swimmers. And so it's like Panzan Lee, he went 47-2 at trials. I have no idea what he's done for the rest of the season. You know?
I think it's also different with swimmers from big countries and swimmers from small countries because Popovich didn't really have a big trials meet that he had to rest for. He was kind of throwing down fast swims at random in-season meets. His season best's a 47.6, whereas Chalmers and Pan both set their season best at their big trials meet type of thing. Chalmers went 47.44. And there's a question, could we see the entire podium go under 47.4? I think it's totally possible. Popovich and Chalmers, I think, will probably both be under that, and I could see someone like Pan or Leendo sneaking under that as well.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, I think Grousset is from what we've seen of him, he's a big meat swimmer, and he does really well under pressure. So I think he is a very strong podium threat. I think Josh Leando's had a great season so far and is doing really well at Florida. So it's hard for me to count him out for a medal. I'm biased because I drafted him, but I also think Alessandro Moressi has a shot. He has a best of 47.4. He's only been 48.2 this season, which I don't love.
Yeah.
But
especially when everyone else is going so fast in the season. Like, he's at a disadvantage.
Oh, and he was dead last in the final last
He
year.
did do better at Euros. A lot of the European swimmers didn't do great at Worlds and then had a better Euros. But to be fair, Euros was at his home pool. But he went 46.
It was. But yeah, so I think he's got a shot there as well. Popovich 46.6 easy dub. Lol. He could, I guess. That's possible. I'm going with Kyle Chalmers because I think that would build the suspense even more heading into the Olympic Games, where Popovich has a world title and Chalmers has a world title. And I honestly, we haven't seen them race yet, so I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be a really exciting swim.
Very close.
But I'm going with Chalmers. And then I like Popovich and Leando for the podium. All right. 200 freestyle, which we don't have our preview for yet.
Yeah. I think this one's a little bit easier to pick than the 100. I think Popovich's better event. I think he's going to win. I see the entire podium under 144. Kind of crazy, but I think Hwang Sun-woo gets second and dips under 144, and Tom Dean gets third. Both Tom Dean has been 144 too, split 143 on the relay, and Hwang Sun-woo is just, he had that amazing short course world swim. I think he almost beat Paul Biederman's world record in short course, and he's also gone 144 multiple times this season. So I think he's gonna have a really solid swim in the 200, get under 144, and Tom Dean as well. And there's a bunch of other 144s like Matt Richards, Japanese swimmer Matsumoto, Pen Genla again. I just like the experience and the consistency of the top three.
You think 3 people are going to go under 144?
Yes.
No way. Absolutely not. I love the growth of this event. Currently, we have 5 swimmers who have been under 145 this season, which a few years ago, before the Tokyo Olympics, that's what it took to win a world title. which is phenomenal. This event has obviously gotten a lot faster. I think you would be a bit boisterous to bet against Popovich. He's been 145-4 this year, but we all know dude knows how to taper. But I'm going with the homers here. I think, well, as in the Asians.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Hwang Sun-woo for silver again. This is his event. He's got it dialed in. I think they are the youth movement, which is kind of
143.
I think he could go 143.9.
Yes.
Okay.
And Tom Dean's been 144 too. He could also go 143.9.
He could.
Damn.
I don't think, but I think it's either going to be Panzan Lee or Katsuhiro Matsumoto for bronze.
I think the whole home games thing is a little blown out of proportion. We saw in Tokyo, the Japanese swimmers were not the best, did not all have their best performances at the Olympics. Like, Diaceto missed the final of the. What do you mean that's different?
The Olympics is way more pressure than a World Championships. Like, that's a fact. But also Diaceto, like, was coming off of, like, a really probably the worst year of his life. So I also think his situation was different.
Oh, right. That's true.
So, yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I agree. Not all the Japanese did great on their home soil. Like, home games does not equal great, but in this case, I think it's an advantage for some Asians. But Panzan Lee's ranked number 2 in the world right now, and Matsumoto's number 5.
Do you think? Okay, how fast do you think the Asians, Panzan Lee and Matsumoto, are gonna go, and why do you think they'll be faster than Tom Dean, who's Olympic champion, world's medalist?
Okay, Katsuhiro Matsumoto, also world's medalist. And
in the 200 free specifically.
Yeah, Katsuhiro Matsumoto is a world silver medalist from 2019 in the 200 free.
Okay. Well, I'm talking more recently because I don't.
Because I think he'll be more comfortable. I mean, it's a close race. The 200 free is extremely strategic, and I think if you are in a comfortable place, that makes it easier for you to execute your strategy. And I think between Pan and Katsuhiro, one of them will have a great swim, not swimming too far from their home country. Whereas I think Tom Dean can do great, but I don't see it for him this go around. Last year, he's looked a lot better than he did last year. But like you said, his best is 144.2. Panzan Lee's been 144.6 this year. I don't see why he couldn't drop a few tenths and Tom Dean doesn't. I mean, not everyone goes a best time in a World Champs final.
What do you think is going to get bronze?
144, 2 or 3.
Okay, that's not far off from my 143.9, but I still think 3 swimmers will be 143 or faster.
I would love to see it, but that'd be a lot of best times.
All right.
So
400 free.
Ugh. It's not unfair, but it hurt that SwimSwam does not have any American in this final. I guess that we didn't have an American in the 200 free final either.
Yeah. I mean, the 200 free final, Luke Hobson's probably gonna final.
I think he has a decent chance, a good chance.
Yeah. Okay. For the 400 free, I have Lucas Martins winning. I think he had that big swim last year, but didn't really. I think that was a little unexpected of him, and um he couldn't carry it to Worlds, and he was sick before Euros and still went faster than his Worlds time there. So I like him for gold. He swam a 3:43 this year. I think he'll drop this time around with more experience. And then I have defending champion Elijah Whittington second, and then I have Sam Short getting bronze. I don't think he's going to be as fast as he was in Australia. I think he's in the same position that Lucas Martins was in last year, in my opinion. He's maybe a little more experienced than Martins, but I don't think he's gonna he's getting a lot of hype, but I don't think he's gonna replicate his in season performances. So that's my podium. And I think Hafnaoui is a wild card podium pick just because he was the Olympic champion, but the event has gotten a lot faster, and we haven't seen him swim really at a big meet since 2021 short course worlds. And he's had some pretty good in season swims, primarily in longer distance events, but he's definitely a wild card. I'm very interested to seeing how fast he's going to go, but I'd have him for fourth.
I would love to see Hafnaoui get on the podium, but it's like he seems a little more distance oriented. I got to see him practice at IU, and they were doing a mile set, basically a broken mile for time. So I know that he's training a lot more distance. So I am a little weary of saying he'll be on the podium for this event specifically, but I do think he's going to have a good meet here just because it seems like he's doing well at Indiana. He's had 2 years to train there and kind of get acclimated, a year. So it seems like he's gonna bounce back a little. We've seen him medal in the mile at short course worlds.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that might translate to the 400/800 free long course. But I agree with you. I think Lucas Martins is my favorite to win, because I think now that he has that experience, as you said, he's going to kind of go up and away. I think 341 wins. So if Whittington can get back to his form, it makes my heart sad also that this event is that internationally it's way faster than in the US.
The fastest time is like 3:45.7.
And then internationally it's like not even that fast. But 341 is very fast.
Yeah.
But world record's 340.0, and people were
I
doing
think
that 20 years ago.
outside shot someone goes 340. That's definitely a possibility. 341.21 last year. So it's definitely a possibility. The thing that makes me sad about the Americans is that Kieran Smith was 343 in the 400 and then won a bronze medal and 144 in the 200, and he was supposed to be the next big guy in American mid distance, but he just hasn't replicated those times afterwards. And this year he didn't even win at trials, so I don't know. That's the sad part to me. Hopefully he'll come back.
That also makes me sad. What I will say about that is last year he had finished his NCAA career. He wasn't, he had the reality is he had that Olympic year where he went 144 and 343, won a bronze. And then he had like 1 year where, we had one meet, long course worlds, where he didn't do as great.
He did great at short course worlds.
Yeah, he goes to short course worlds. He wins the 400 free there. And then, this year he has not had to taper for conference NC2As. I think it's very evident he was not fully rested at our trials, and the focus was just making the team and getting to Japan. So I think he will drop time for sure. I don't think David Johnston's going to beat him again. That's my prediction there. It would be great to see him, come back to form, maybe even go some best times in the 400 free. But yeah, I mean, I think between Winnington and Martins, it's kind of their race to lose. I think Sam Short will pull a Lucas Martins. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to be on the podium. I
Who do you
think,
think's gonna replace him?
huh?
Who do you think's gonna replace him?
I think Kieran could. I think Hafnaoui could. If Felix Albach is on form, we kind of haven't heard from him from a little bit, but he's training at Loughborough. He's training partners with Dan Whiffen there, and so I think he's always kind of got the potential to be there. So between those guys who have a lot of international experience, and then Guillermo Costa,
Yeah.
bronze medalist from last year, I think someone else will be in the mix, and I don't see Sam Short replicating his swim from trials. So there's that. 800 free. Good God,
free.
this is
this one was hard to pick, but I went Fink, Wellbrock, and then Short. Fink, he looked so much better than expected at trials because he doesn't need to go all out at trials. He's usually still considerably slower than the rest of the world at his trials because he knows he can easily make the team. So just the fact that he was less than a second off his best time shows that he can probably drop a lot more headed into Worlds. I like Walbrock for second. The 800 I think is a little short for him, but he's looked really good in open water. I think he can medal. And Short, I had him medaling because he's only a few tenths off of Fink, but now that I think about it, there's a really good chance that someone more experienced like a Romanchuk or Paul Trineri beats him. So I'm a little skeptical about my bronze pick now that I think about it. I think Romanchuk is a solid choice as well for bronze contender.
I'm gonna read off the current world rankings because they are bananas. So Bobby Fink is ranked number 1, 740.3. 5 100s behind him is Sam Short, Lucas Martins, Alexander Stepanov of Russia. So that doesn't really count because he's not going to swim here. Florian Wellbrock, Sven Schwarz of Germany, Michaela Romanchuk, Dan Whiffen, Elijah Winnington, Greg Paltrinieri is your top 10. So then really top 9 because Stepanov is from Russia and not going to swim. So it's going to be crazy just in the heats, like getting into the final. Like someone with medal potential is not going to make the final. Like that's a guarantee. And then the final, it's going to be just nuts. Because you have just so many hard hitters, and you have these guys who are, really great at the 400 coming up. You have these guys who are really great at the mile coming down. So, you have a Lucas Martins who may not be quite as versed in the mile, and Elijah Winnington, same kind of thing, who are swimming this. And then you have guys like Wellbrock and Paltrinieri who are very much milers. Oh God, this is going to be one of the best races of the meet, I think.
The closing speed battles are going to be crazy because Fink has that really good, solid last 50. And then Wellbrock also, who's a closer. Sam Short also, I think, closed in 27, 26 in his trial swim. So that's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I'm going to go with history on this one. I think Fink is the favorite. Like you said, he looked great at trials. He said in his post-race interview, and we've seen this from him, that, he doesn't need to swim fast at trials, but when he gets around all those other guys, he's not thinking about time. He's just thinking about the race, and he knows how to race, and his body just kind of does the rest. And he has a sensational last 50. He can close in 26:25, and that is, time tested. So I think it's not that he's better at this event than the mile, but I think he has a better
Yeah,
chance to win because there are other guys
yeah,
who can just
yeah,
get out in front more in the mile, whereas Bobby can linger. There is less of this race for them to get out, so Bobby can linger a lot more effectively for the
yeah,
for the majority of the race, and then does what he does on the last part of it. So I feel comfortable picking him to win. You're right. Florian has looked great, and I think we'll see what some of these other guys' speed has. You know, if Lucas Martins or maybe Winnington can like get on form in that 400, they might be a threat. I'm gonna go with not Wellbrock for the podium on this, just because it is a little short for him, and I think being so on point in open water, it might take him a little bit to bounce back. But I think Lucas Martins can podium. We'll see how Michaelo looks, but I think he's a threat as well. Honestly, I would love to see Dan Whiffen get on there too,
yeah.
and get his meet started off on a great note. So, a lot of great picks on that one. That's going to be a really fun race.
Yeah,
Um,
I like Whiffen in this race, but I do think he's gonna be better in the mile, which we're gonna talk about next.
yeah.
I don't think he's winning. I think Wellbrock is winning the mile. This is more of his event than the 800, and I think in second in this one, just because I agree with Coleman. I think it's gonna be harder for him to run down the the um the rest of the field here because a lot of people are going to be out ahead of him. And for bronze, I have Paul Trineri getting bronze, but I honestly think someone like Whiffen or Romanchuk could also get bronze. Trineri just hasn't looked as on point as everyone else has in season, but he more often than others, I think, saves his best swims for the big meets. I don't think he's gonna replicate his swim from last year, but I do think someone who went 14:32 a year ago is gonna be around that 14:35, 14:34 range. I just don't see him winning because he won the 10K last year, but only got fifth this year, and I think that's a little bit of an indication as to what form he's in. But I don't like betting against the world champion, who especially a world champion that won by that much last year, to be off the podium like we picked in his preview. But I do think Whiffen has a shot. From seeing his interviews, he seems really motivated and like medaling at Worlds is his goal, and just like seeing the way he has like clear cut goals makes it seem like he's not just unexpectedly going fast in season and not being able to replicate it at Worlds, but he's training so he can replicate his in season swim at Worlds. And obviously, Romanchuk upset Paul Trineri for the European title, went 14:36. He's in this conversation as well. I honestly think this is gonna be the most stacked race of this meet.
The
On
mile or the 800?
the mile on the men's side.
See, I feel like the 800 will be more stacked just because you have those 400 guys kind of coming up as well, that could show some speed. I mean, to me, there's 5 or 6 guys in the mile who really have a great shot, and that's Wellbrock, Whiffen, Romanchuk, Fink, Martins, and Greg. But Greg has only been 14:49 this season.
Yeah.
Not that that means very much, I don't think.
I don't think it means that much considering I think he was 14:45 last year before Worlds and went 14:32 at Worlds. I don't think he's as fast in season as everyone else.
Yeah. I agree. And I think he'll have a great swim. So to me, my opinion on this race is that I think it will depend on who ends up in what lane. Because as we've said, Bobby Fink just kind of races the field. And so if it's a situation again where you have Greg on an outside lane or Wellbrock on an outside lane, which I don't think will happen because
No.
he seems pretty dialed in. But if you have someone on an outside lane that's kind of away from the pack, I think that's going to affect the race. Greg could do his thing again where he just goes and no one else can see him. Or they're more concerned with the people to their direct left and right. So I think it will come down to that again. I think if everyone's in a bunch, then I kind of like Bobby Fink because he not only has the closing speed, but he has the ability to race. Like I don't think he could do it on his own, but I think he has the ability to go 14:32 or 14:31. Like I think he can do it. He can close in on the world record, but he'd have to like be really close to the guys.
Like he doesn't do stuff for time. He paces with everyone else.
Yeah, so I think if he's in the hunt and everyone's kind of really going for it, I like him to win. But if he's close to a couple guys, but then the real speedsters are even like 2 lanes over from him, then I think it's someone else's race to win. And I think your analysis is correct. Greg doesn't look totally on form, but we've seen him kind of pull surprises before, where he maybe doesn't have a great swim. I think he missed a medal in the 800 at one meet and then like bounced back in the mile.
That was last year at Worlds. He off the podium 800 won the 15.
But on the opposite end of the spectrum, he also won the 10K and finished second in the 5K at that meet. So he was obviously on form there.
Yeah.
And then Wellbrock has had a sensational season and he looks great in open water so far. So I think if Wellbrock is any more than 1 lane away from Bobby Fink, he wins. And I think if Bobby's next to him, I'm calling him for the winner. I'm a little skeptical on Dan Whiffen medaling, just because he medaled last year at Com Games and he is super motivated. But that was a sensational swim that he had in Stockholm, and similar to Sam Short, I'm not convinced he's going to be able to replicate that. I think he could get 4th or 5th, but coming in with a lot of these heavyweights for like his first kind of real time racing everyone, it's like they've got a lot more experience than he does.
My question is, do you think swimming open water prior to the full distance races will be an advantage or a disadvantage? Because obviously you're not coming in fresh. We're talking a lot about Wilbrock looking on form and being the favorite to win because he did so well in open water, but will that wear him out? Like on one hand, I could see that happening, but then on the other hand, it's like you already have racing in, so it like takes a little bit of the pressure off.
I agree, and I'm opting to lean towards the latter of those options, as Mr. Parker is saying here. Winning the 10 and 5K is huge. Setting up to medal in the 8 and the 1500. I think it gives these guys confidence. I mean, these guys have exorbitant training loads, right? Like the amount of yardage they put in on a weekly basis is crazy. They train for this. And so them racing a 10K and then 2 days later a 5K, and then they have a week to recover. I think that's doing a lot more for them mentally than it is affecting them negatively in a physical way. They have plenty of time to rebound, and they were going to be doing that yardage anyway. Maybe not like a 10K race in one day, but I don't. We've seen Florian and Greg medal in open water last year and at the Olympics, and then come back and do it in the pool. And I think they know how to do it. They know how to rebound. So I don't think that's going to affect them negatively.
The open water at the Olympics and Worlds last year was after the pool swimming.
Dang it. But
I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying.
that's I forgot about that. But psychologically, I
Yeah.
think it helps. And I think
Yeah.
this year they'll be okay. But it'll be really interesting to see. Do you know if open water will be first at the Olympics as well?
I have no idea.
Kind of hope not.
Same.
But yeah, whatever. All right. Done with freestyle. On to, I guess, butterfly.
Butterfly.
So what's
Yeah.
next on my list?
The 50 fly. This is no hate towards people who are swimming the event, but to me, the 50 fly is the most boring event of this entire meet. Like, it's not very fast.
It's the
All
most
the podium
lackluster.
people, all the people on the podium from last year are not at Worlds this year. The top times of this year aren't very fast. I think 22:8 is the top time in the world this year.
Well, 22.6 by a Russian.
Yeah.
But 22.8 is Thomas Chacon's top time in number 2 time in the world.
I liked Chacon winning, and I have Dylan Carter getting second. He's had a great last few months, and he's been in that 4th or 5th position this year, in the last few years. But I think this year he has the opportunity to get on the podium, and he has a lot of experience compared to some of the other people in this field. So I think he's getting second. And my pick for third is a little out of left field, but I have Shane Costas getting third. I think that bad trials meet was a wake-up call for him. I think he will put it together for Worlds. And at trials, even though he made the team in the 2IM, but did it in the one fly, I do think the one fly was his best performance. He went 51.3 in the one fly, which is honestly not that bad. And what he took out a 50 fly in 23.3, which makes me think he has at least a 22.8, 22.9, 50, just not in a 100. So I think if he gets it together, he can podium and maybe even win. I'm gonna say podium for now and be conservative, but I do think he gets on the podium.
I think that's a great call. He was 23.3.
Yeah, going
out in the 100 at trials.
Best time? No. This was from nationals when he went 50.4. He went out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fast. I see where your head's at, and I hope that happens as an American. I wouldn't bet on it though. And my reasoning is that we've kind of seen this happen before with Shane at the last 2 trials meets, Olympic trials and World Champ trials last year, where
last year he didn't have a bad trials meet. He just scratched his 2 best events. Like, he went a best time in the 200 back, went 24.0 in the 50, which is really fast. But his only bad swim was the one back last year, but this year he was just the disaster in almost all his events.
Well, and I agree. This year was disastrous. However, we've seen him come in as a favorite to make the team in multiple events and then fail to do that in multiple events. At Olympic trials, he did not make the team at all. Last year, he made it in the 200 back, but then missed it in the 100, missed it in the 50. And as you said, scratched his 2 events where he would have had a really good shot. And then this year, just did not have a good meet. Don't know why. We don't know if he was sick. We don't know if it was physical. We don't know if it was mental. But he made it on the team. He's now swimming the 50 fly. But I'm not super. I mean, and last year he medaled in the 200 back, at Worlds. So I don't know. I wouldn't bet on him making a podium but I hope he does. I think it would be awesome if he did. I I just want to say Dylan Carter wins, but I think Thomas Chacon looks great to win. He was 5th last year in the final. Dylan Carter was 4th. So I want Dylan Carter to be a world champion. He's been 23-0 this season. He's coming off some great short course momentum from the World Cup. And he's training in Trinidad and Tobago by himself. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah.
So I think those two look really great. I think Ben Proud has only been 23-3 this year, but we have him in our preview getting second. And I think that's also, you can never really count him out. I think he's a bit cerebral in that event and can sometimes overthink it, but I like his chances as well.
Someone said Costas is not good under pressure, but that's the thing. He's coming into this meet with not that much pressure. Nobody's expecting him to podium in either of his events because he did so bad at trials, which is why I think he has the potential to pull a surprise, especially in an event that's so unpredictable and wide open like the 50 fly.
It's true. And although I do think he's a great short course swimmer, we all know that. It's like he's medaled. He's gone to short course worlds 2 years in a row and gotten on the podium there. So like he knows how to perform at big meets because every big meet he's been to, he has medaled individually, which is no small feat. I mean, that takes a lot. But he did not look great a few weeks ago. So it's hard to say whether he will look great or not this year. And Sebastian Sabo, I think, is also worth noting, as a commenter pointed out. We have him getting 5th. He's been 22-9 this year. I think it's going to be really close. Maxime Grousset has also been 23-0
Grousset is a really interesting one. He's been 23-0, but he also dropped a second in his 100 fly. So that could be interesting. I see him going under 23.
Yeah. And then a few more mentions. This is who we have in our final. Cam McAvoy has been 23-0. Diogo Ribeiro has been 23-1. He has a best of 22.
He went under 22 last year. 23, not under 22 last year. He got COVID last month, like less than a month ago. But he was asymptomatic and still training when he had COVID. He just couldn't go to a meet because of the concern of spreading it. That's really interesting to me. I wonder how that's going to affect him.
And then we have Takashi Kawamoto of Japan, Homer, who's been 23-1. So this, I agree with you, YanYan. This is probably the least exciting event to me of the meet. I'm glad it's early in the meet so we can kind of get it out of the way. But it's a super tight field. We have all of these guys have season bests that are basically within 2 or 3 tenths of each other. So it's going to be a good race, but not super exciting. But the 100 fly is marginally more exciting.
Okay. Josh Liendo, number 1 seed, my pick for gold. Just with the 1-3, I think he's gonna have a big meet. Great swim by him. I think Grousset is gonna get second. He also both of them had very big swims at trials and are pretty good at swimming at big meets. And then in third, I have reigning silver medalist Naoki Mizunuma, but I could also see his teammate Matsumoto, who has been 50.9 this year, getting bronze. Those are my bets for the podium. I think Hellman will have a big swim. I think he'll get 4th and just miss out.
Heilman with the you think Heilman will do better than Dare?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow. Someone else has Heilman getting 4th as well. You guys think Heilman's going to do better than Dare? Dang, that's intense. Heilman has been to international meets before. I don't
Yes.
remember if Dare went
This
to
is
junior meets
Dare's
or not.
first time, I think.
Is it? Did he go to like World Juniors or Junior Pan
Oh,
Packs
he
or
did.
something?
He went to World Juniors in 2019.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's just older.
Yeah. But he only swam relays.
Okay.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Ben Dornan. You already got a shout out about your fantasy draft team, which has not been released yet. 50.8 to
No.
make the
Not
final.
happening.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No way. I don't even think 8 people have not been 50.8 this season.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be like 51, 2, or 3. Last year it took a 51 to medal, I think.
Yeah, I think 50.8 medals like safely. And we don't even have Milak or Dressel in this field. So, yeah, I think Liendo has just had an upward trajectory. He seems to be doing great at Florida. I think this will be his best event. And I think he looked like a great pick to win this at NCAA's, and then Yusuf Ramadan just had that phenomenal swim.
Yeah.
But I think he's great long course. He was 50.3 at his trials. So, yeah, I'm going with Liendo as well. I don't think Grousset, though. Is Grousset swimming the 50 free? Is he going to do
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I'm
double?
pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
Liendo's swimming the 50 free as well.
Yeah, but I've seen him do that, and he can do that. I don't know as much about Maxime Grousset, and so like with a sprinter like that, it's like he's going to come off the 100 free and then immediately do the 100 fly and have a 50 free, and then I'm not super convinced. And he went his 50.6 in France. I'm not. I don't think he'll medal in this because I don't think he'll repeat that. However, Dare Rose, I do think will medal, as will Katsuhiro Matsumoto after medaling in the 200 free. Is he swimming this?
Yes.
Nice. Sorry, our preview's not up, so I'm not positive, but
There's an
I'm calling.
that's out. There's an entries book that's out, and you can see who's swimming what.
I guess I'll have to go to SwimSwam to find that. That's my podium picks. I think Dare Rose and I think Katsuhiro Matsumoto.
Dare Rose has the thing that I feel about a lot of American men right now is that they went all in for trials because it wasn't a surefire bet that they would make the team, and I just don't know if they have much in them to drop at their first major international meet. Like I feel that way about Dare Rose, Jack Alexi, Chris Giuliano, and a bunch of others. So yeah, that I mean he could medal, but I just don't see it. I think he's gonna add time.
Okay, but Dave Durden has this thing dialed in so much. A, they know how to double taper, and B, I don't think you're wrong that they went all in for trials, but he doesn't need to drop time. Like if he goes 50.7 again, if he goes 50 point anything again, he's good. In my mind to medal. And
what about Noe Ponte? We haven't talked about him at all. He's
no way.
Noe Ponte.
He could do it.
Yeah, he could medal.
What has he been this year? He's been 51 too.
Yeah.
Which is a great swim. So the thing is, for reference, everyone, the top 21 swimmers in the world this year, the top 23 swimmers in the world this year have been 51.4 or better. And I think like that gives you a very legitimate shot to medal because any one of those guys could pop a 50 point. And again, I think that's what it takes to medal. So there's a lot of swimmers that we might not mention, but like that have great chances to do this. Like Matthew Temple is another one, 51.3 at Aussie Trials.
Someone said James Guy. I don't think he's gonna swim this just because he likes to scratch stuff to swim these.
I think if he does swim an individual, it would be this. I don't think he will medal.
Yeah.
He medaled in 2017, which was 6 years ago. I don't think he's going to do it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
200 fly.
Wait, hold on. So you had said, and this can be a 200 fly topic as well. So going by your logic of like Dare and Jack and Chris Giuliano going all in for trials, do you think Thomas Heilman went all in for trials?
Okay. Yeah, I did think of that. I did, which is why I'm skeptical and I don't have him medaling. But I don't know. Thomas Hellman's just different. Like
Built different.
He just does stuff out of nowhere that surprises me, and I don't know. Like I can't explain it. But 200 fly, probably one of the easier events to pick. I have Tomoru Honda winning. Like Coleman always says, the home pool advantage. And he also has the fastest best time in the field and is coming off a massive world record. And then I have Leon in second. And in third, I have Ilya Karun pulling off the upset against Carson Foster. He had a massive short course worlds, is on this great upward trajectory, went 154 at trials and in season, and I see him going 153 for the podium.
That's yeah. We haven't even talked about Ilya yet, which he could medal in the 100 fly too.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know. Sorry, I don't. Hold on. No, I don't know what he's been this year.
I think 51.7.
Okay. Yeah, so that's more of a long shot, but why did Milak pull out? I know why, but it makes me sad.
Oh, 51.4. He's been 51.4.
51.4. That's that to me that's medal territory. Oh, Leon Marchand. He's going to have such a good meet. He's going to have the 400 IM first, and then the 200 fly final, and then the 200 IM semifinal. I don't want to pick Tomoru Honda to win. I want Leon Marchand to win because I want him to sweep his individual events. Do I think that will happen? Dude, Tomoru Honda looks so good this season. What last year at Worlds, Milak broke the world record. Leon was second in a 53.3, and Honda was third in a 53.6.
Yeah, and Honda went 152 last year.
Honda
Come on,
did.
just pick Honda. I know you want to.
I'm going Leon. I think Leon Marchand is the Bob Bowman, uses the Bob Bowman effect / taper to pull himself to victory after breaking the world record in the 400 IM. He's going to be on a massive high, and he'll be like, I can do anything I want. And he's going to upset Tomoru Honda in his own country. I think Honda gets second.
I feel like people think Marchand is going to win just because he's Marchand, which is valid. But Honda also has a lot of momentum going for him right now. And
he does.
And Honda, this is his event. Marchand has that 200 IM semifinal on the same day.
Yeah, but it's after.
I don't think it's gonna be a problem for him. But and it's also after. But Honda's the favorite. I think.
All right, I'm gonna pull a fast one on you, using the reverse logic I used before. Tomorrow Honda's gonna have a lot of pressure on him, and in the 200 fly, if you have pressure, that does not go well. And I think Leon will not have pressure on him. because it's the 200 fly. It's his third event, and he will have already broken a world record, the oldest world record ever at this point in the meet. So he'd be like, dude, I can do whatever I want. And tomorrow Honda, this will be his focus event. So he's going to be tight. And if you're tight in the 200 fly, that doesn't go well in the last 50. Leon's going to have a massive underwater. He's going to blow by tomorrow Honda. And it's going to be Marchand madness, just like at NCAAs.
This podcast has just been us contradicting ourselves in different events.
Well, that's how it goes. I agreed with you on a couple. Who do I think is going to get bronze?
Dun dun dun.
Do you think Ilya?
You're not gonna pick.
I think
Ilya.
that's a good pick.
Never mind.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. I like Carson. I'm skeptical that he will handle the double as well as Leon, and I think there's a chance that Carson could scratch this. I want to see him prosper.
I feel like if he scratched, then he would have done it earlier, because Trenton Julian, I believe, has the A cut, and if he scratched it, then he probably would be on the team.
I'm just saying, like, if something doesn't go well at the start of the meet for Carson, then he's gonna focus more on the 2 IM than the 2 fly. And people, that happens. People pull out. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm not saying it. I think it will, but I'm saying if something does happen, like, I think the 200 fly is the bottom priority for Carson over the 200 IM.
Yeah. I'm also not really sure if he can replicate his 153 swim, because that was from Austin sectionals, which is his favorite meet, but it's not the biggest meet.
Yeah, home pool advantage. It's your home pool. I mean, you swim well in the. I think the same thing about Reagan Smith's 200 fly. She swam it in her home pool and she was coming off of altitude. Like, I don't think she's gonna go as fast as she did there. I agree with you. I think it would be really hard for Carson to go 153, whatever he went at in Japan. So I like Ilya for third. Let's move on.
Yeah.
50 breaststroke.
50 breast.
Wow. I think this will be the second.
Yeah.
Second lamest event.
But I do think the breaststrokes, at least the sprint breaststrokes, are a little bit underrated in terms of competition, because without Petey, there's a bunch of people scrunched up in that 57 high, 58 low range in the 100, and in the 50 there's a bunch of 26s. So there could be someone going 58 low and not getting on the podium. But I like Nick Fink winning the 100 breast.
Wait, 50. We're talking about the 50.
Yeah, the 50. I do have him winning the 50 as well. And then I have Nicolo getting second and Chin Haiyang placing third. Nicolo hasn't looked as good in season as he has in past years, but I do think the 50, he's gonna be naturally better in it than in the 100. So I do think he'll medal in the 50.
Holy Moses. Okay, listen to this, people. We have 7 men who have been 26.6 to 26.7. They're within 0.18 of each other, and they're all going to Worlds. Starting with Sun Jiajun of China, Qin Haiyang of China, Nick Fink, Joao Gomez Jr., Nicolo Martinenghi, Simone Cherasuolo, and Melvin Imodu. That's all some serious speed. I'm gonna stick on my bandwagon and go with one of the Chinese guys for gold, because I think Qin Haiyang and Sun Jiajun look pretty good right now at 26.6. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna take. Last year, Fink won in 26.4. Yeah. Martinenghi was 300s behind him. Andrew was 3/10 behind that. So
Mhm.
it's like they were the guys. But I think it's going to kind of come down to that day.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the Chinese guys to win. But I think a Chinese guy to win. I don't know, Sun or Ken. But then I think Nick and Nicole. I think Nicolo will get his revenge on Nick in the 50 this year and touch him out. But I think they will go 2 and 3. That's my picks.
I think it's kind of hard for me to argue with you on this event just because there's really not much analysis to be done in the men's 50.
It's a 50.
It's not like the 50 stroke events are just not very interesting. I'm sorry.
They're not. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Michael Andrew.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's a personal attack on him. They are hard to analyze.
Yeah.
There's not much to talk about. All right, 100 breast.
100 breast, though.
We've got stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Nick Fink. I've got Nick Fink with the sweeping the breaststrokes. And Chin for second, top seed. And then I have Kaminga in third. And I think both of them, all three of them are going to be either 57 high or 58 low. There's going to be at least 157. And I have the world champion Martin Angie off the podium because his season best is only a 59.0 compared to Kaminga's been 58.9, Chin has been 57.9, and Nick has been 58.3. And Martin Angie last year prior to Worlds he was 58.5, and then I think before the Olympics he also had a 58.5 swim. So this year just he hasn't looked as strong coming into the meet. So I see him getting off the podium. Like I could see him going a fast time and still missing out.
You've talked me into getting off the Nicolo Martinenghi wagon. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I'm convinced. I see that you have, is it Chin?
Yeah.
On your fantasy team, and I don't really love
so
that.
much of the
but
the draft.
However, I'm gonna pick him for the sweep. I think he gets the breaststroke sweep. He's been 57.9. You know, he could add a couple tenths. He could not go a best time, but still get the job done. And he's looked good this season. So I'm going to pick him for 50 and 100 breast. And I'm going to pick Nick Fink for double silver after going the huge best time, 58.3 at trials.
Not huge. It was only 1/100th.
Whatever. It's huge when you're his age.
You don't think he's going to drop any more time? He split 57 on a relay. He could go at 50 low.
I don't think he will go a best time in Japan. He could. I don't think he will. Last year he was 58.6 in the world's final and got bronze. So, no, I don't see it. But yeah, let's throw Arno in there for third. Although Yanzi Bay was 58.7, and the other Italian guy has been 58.7.
If
Go ahead.
Yanzi Bay beats Qin Haiyang in this race and gets on all the Chinese relays, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, man, that will be a bummer for you.
Yeah, because he split 57 on the relay before and has been 58 low, so it's a little scary.
But honestly, I do hope that happens because I want to win. All right, 200 breast.
200 breast. This event, I'm not going to
Leon Marchand. Just kidding,
it's
sorry.
kind of boring because I don't think Marchand's going to swim it with the 200 IM conflict. He has said before that he's not going to swim. He's entered in it, but I think he said in an interview that he wasn't going to swim it.
He did, and I think that's a formality in case, just in case something goes wrong. It's better to have the option.
Yeah. So without him, Zach Stubbley-Cook for the win. I have Ipe Watanabe getting second. He's had a rough few years, but I think he did break the world record some time ago. Has been 206 before. He's been 207 this year. in his home pool. You see, I'm using the home pool argument to my advantage now. What is going on?
It's a good argument.
But I do like him as a pick more than some of the other Japanese swimmers that you argued for. But I see him getting second, and then Shin Ha-young, who's been 2075 against third. He's gonna medal in all 3 breaststrokes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue against Zach's gobbledygook. This is kind of a boring event. Wow. Yeah, ZSC all the way. I really want to say Matt Fallon will medal.
I was debating
but
picking Matt Fallon for bronze. I think he'll make the final and have a great swim, but
yeah,
just other.
It's his first international meet. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bet on him.
See his little back half strategy against the world record holder.
It will.
So a back halfer.
Shoma Sato has been 206.4. Do you know when he went that?
Before the Olympics.
That is so freaking fast.
It was before the Olympics, and then he couldn't swim at the Olympics.
Okay, I'm picking him for second. Shoma Sato is my pick for second because that's insane. And he obviously has the potential, and that was not that long ago. And then he got a hernia during the Olympic Games, which is why he couldn't swim it there. But I think he wants to impress his home crowd. I am encouraged by the fact that he was 208.2 this season, which means he's been great, but he definitely has room for improvement.
Watanabe has been faster, and
he has been faster, which tells me we don't really know that much if he's gonna go faster. You see what I'm saying here?
Their ceilings are similar.
They are. But Watanabe's best time is from 2017. So they're not really that similar because Sato went his best time 4 years later. But anyway, Sato for second. I'm definitely not putting Kin on the podium because I don't want to help you. So I'm going Kaminga for double bronze.
You know what's crazy? I think the defending silver medalist in this event, Yuma Hanaguma from Japan, didn't even make the Japanese team this year just because, and I think he's been 208, I believe, and 2 other people beat him. That's how good Japanese swimmers are in the 200 breast.
Japanese breaststroke has been historically insane.
Yeah.
Funny comment. Daniel Gerda coming out of retirement for the gold and a world record. Why not?
Yes.
I'm all about it. I want to see Gerda coming out of retirement. That'd be sick. All right. Moving on to backstroke. Men's 50 backstroke again. I mean, I think this one, Justin Ress and Hunter Armstrong for gold and silver is not that hot of a take and pretty.
Yeah, I have Armstrong first, Ress second, but you can honestly go either way.
Yeah.
I do think Armstrong is going to be a lot faster at Worlds than he was at trials. He did say in his interview he wasn't expecting the field to be that fast, which makes me think that he wasn't really tapered trials. And then
he did say exactly that. Yeah.
And then I have Isaac Cooper for bronze, getting his revenge after whatever happened at Short Course Worlds last year.
Isaac Cooper. That's a good pick. But I'm going to go with Thomas Chacon. Just because I think he'll have a great meet. But Isaac Cooper's a great pick. I'm going Hunter for the win too. I think Justin gets second. You know what? I'm gonna switch it up. I'm going Hunter, Cooper, Chacon.
No Ress?
No Ress. I think it's a 50. It's a 50.
It's a 50, but he's been so consistently good at it.
He has. I'm using the Japan rule. Isaac Cooper is way closer to home, and Thomas Chacon is just going to have a phenomenal meet. And I think Rest will be just a little bit off and get fourth. That's what I think.
Not happening.
All right, 100 back.
100 breath. I mean, 100 back. It's a little bit of a hot take, but I have Hunter Armstrong beating Thomas Chacon. And I think Hunter could take down that world record that Chacon set last year. And if he doesn't, I still think Armstrong, I think, is a more consistent swimmer than Chacon is, because we saw Chacon went 51.6 in the World's final, didn't medal on the 50 back, 51.9 on the medley relay, 52.2 at Euros. He's been 52.8 this season. Hunter's been 52.3, and that was his time from not being all in at trials. I think he's going to be a lot faster. He's had a great year with Cal. And I have Chacon getting second. And for third, I don't have Ryan Murphy, which is probably I have Greek swimmer Apostolos Christou. He went 52.09 last year in semis, which I think was a bit of a surprise for him. Didn't go as fast in finals, but then he bounced back at Euros to win the 50 back and go 52.2 in the 100 back. So this year, I think it's going to be more expected for him to do well. I could see him getting under the 52-second barrier. So those are my picks.
It's a spicy pick. I like it. Let's see. I like Hunter for gold. Someone says Hunter's going to go 51.9. Do you remember what Hunter would at trials last year?
52.2.
And he was 52.3 this year at trials. I mean, yeah, I think he could. The fun part is that Chacon and Hunter both have crazy back halves, so I think that will be a very Chalmers Popovich-esque race. But yeah, I'm going with Hunter as well. I'll go with Chacon for the silver. And I like Zhu Jiayu for bronze, who was 52.2 at Chinese Nationals this year.
For me, it's the same questions and doubts I have with most of the other Chinese swimmers.
That's fair.
And Zhu was expected to be on the podium last year and just did not have a good meet. But I think the Chinese will be better than they were last year. But why does no one think Murphy's going to get on the podium? I agree with that prediction. I do think he doesn't have the same pop that he has in the past few years, but I want to hear your opinion on that.
Because he's getting older. I think it's just harder to be at your best all the time when you are getting older, especially in an event that's getting really, really deep. Hunter has been consistently better than Murphy this whole year. Chacon obviously has a higher ceiling than Murphy does. I'm picking Zhu Jiayu because we're in Japan, and I'm using that logic once again. And so I think he'll just be able to perform good enough to be on the podium. I think Murphy will be right there. He obviously has a ton of international racing experience, but I think in the 100, he misses out on the podium just by a hair. Yeah.
But
200 back.
I think Murphy's winning the 200 back because this event is not very strong internationally.
Yeah, is anyone even close to him?
Destin Lasco has been is 6/10 off his season best, but a second off of what he went last year to win. So I do think Murphy's pretty much a safe pick gold. And I have Hubert Coates for silver. Bob Bowman effect. It's been 155.9 in season. I think he can drop a few tenths, get on the podium. And then for third, I have Destin Lasco, just because there's really not that many other people. Bradley Woodward has also been 155, but I don't know. I like Lasco's potential more than Woodward, so that's my top three.
Yeah. Is Joshua Edward Smith swimming this?
No, he did not make worlds.
That's rough. Yeah, this is really not a very deep field then. Yeah, I mean,
for this event, I don't know.
Ryan Murphy for the gold hands down.
Yeah.
In the 200 back. I'm going America 1-2. I think Murphy will carry Lasco to second. He'll drag him up with him. And then yeah, there's really not many people to pick, is there? Let's see. Let's go down the list a little bit here. Who we got? Is Jujia Yu swimming it?
I do not.
You know what? Oh my God, he's not swimming this either. I was about to pick Peter Coetzee. Dang it. He's not even at this meet. Yeah. I'm going Australia, Bradley Woodward for bronze. Not much to discuss in this event.
Yeah. The IMs, on the other hand,
a lot to discuss. 2 IM, get us started.
Leon for the gold. Maybe a world record. We don't know. I'm a little less certain about this than I am about the 4 IM world record. I think Wang Shun has a great swim ahead of him. I think he has potential to upset Marchand. I don't think it's going to happen because Marchand is Marchand. But he's decent at all 4 strokes, has great closing speed, has been faster than Marchand. He was injured last year, which is why he wasn't that great at Worlds, but he's been 155.5 this year, has a great shot at the podium and potentially gold. And then I have Carson Foster for bronze. I know he has that the 200 fly, that's the 200 fly final and 2 IM semifinal. I think the finals on a completely separate day, but I think bronze and Shane Casas, of course. I do think it's going to be a little bit harder for Casas to make his way on the podium in this event than the 50 fly, but I think he has a chance.
I agree with you, and I think it is crazy to me that he made the team in all events in the 200 IM, just because I feel like if you're having a hard time, it's harder to do better in the 200s, especially because he went like 159 or 158 in the 200 back. But it's crazy to me that he good for him. I hope he kills it in this event, but I am once again not betting on him to medal. Leon all the way for gold. Man, I would love to see Diaceto medal in this.
He did medal last year.
Exactly.
Duncan Scott is swimming this. Duncan Scott could also get on the podium. He was the Olympic silver medal. Like, I don't think he will, but this is his only event.
Yeah, I think it'll be faster than last year. So last year, Leon won in 155.2. Carson was 155.7. Dia was bronze in 156.2. And I think Chase Kalish was right behind him at like 156.3, 156.4. So I think it'll take a 155 to medal. So just a few tenths faster than last year. So yeah, Leon all the way. I don't think Dia is going to get on the podium. I don't think he quite has the speed. I like Wang Shun, who, fun fact, he was training at Team Elite for a while in San Diego. Him and Yishi Wen and 1 or 2 other Chinese national team members.
Training with Mark Schubert? I know.
No. I don't know currently. I was just there when they were training there in 2000.
Because I know Li Bingji trained with Mark Schubert, so I was wondering if there was some sort of connection.
No, they were training with David Marsh at the time.
Oh,
but the Wang Shun's nickname was Steve. Everyone would just call him Steve. So anyway, I like him for silver as well, especially coming off of an injury. He's looking great, and he knows how to get the job done. And then, I like Carson for bronze as well. And again, I think they'll all be under 156. So yeah, we'll see if Duncan Scott's focus on just the 2 IM pays off. It's a bold move, dropping the 2 free. Does Planche and Deem are interesting conversations, says someone. I agree. I think they're medal contenders as well, especially Dean, who's been 155 1.
No. Duncan Scott has
Sorry,
been
Duncan Scott has been
Dean
155
has
1.
been 156 high, I believe.
Yeah, so they're in the mix. I don't think Leon breaks a world record.
No.
That I think he will need someone to push him as well, you know what? He's broken all the other world records without anyone pushing him. So maybe he won't, but I don't think he's there this year. I think he saves that one for Paris. That's my prediction. 400 IM. Leon
Is
Marchand.
where Marchand will break the world record.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
This one, I have Foster in second, and then Diaceto in third. He's just looked really good in this event. The last year, he's been 407, and if there's an event that he's gonna make the podium, it's this one.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't think there's too much else to say about that. I like Leon for the world record. I'm picking Dia as second. Again, he's showing out for the home country. I think he puts on a great swim and gets second, and I think Carson gets third. I hope Carson gets third. All right, relays. This might be the hardest part of this conversation.
Yeah. Actually,
all right,
the relays did not take me very long to pick.
Okay, men's 400 free relay.
Yeah, number 1, Great Britain. Number 2, US. Number 3, Italy. Because it's gonna be close between Great Britain and US, but the British have more experience, and they have at least 146 in Tom Dean. The US could have a 46 in Ryan Hell, but their other 3 swimmers, Matt Richards, could be like a 47 low, 47 mid.
I mean, Duncan Scott's 46.
Duncan Scott 46-1 could be 40. I think he's going at least a 47 low, and then I said Matt Richards, Scott, Dean.
Lewis.
Oh yeah, and Lewis Burrows has been 47-6 flat start. I just think they've just been overall faster and have more experience than people like Alexi, Matt King, Leendo.
Who do you think USA's relay will be?
I think it's going to be Ryan Held, Justin Rest, Jack Alexi, and I like Matt Ping on the relay. He's really good at relay splits. So I think it's going to be those 4.
Yeah, we'll see how Chris Giuliano does. It's funny that he's swimming it individually because we know nothing about him. And he was scheduled to go to World University Games before he qualified for an individual event. But I would like that relay also.
And Italy gets bronze. I forgot to say that.
Italy gets bronze. You did say that. Yeah, I mean, I think Britain has been working on this relay for a couple of years. I agree that it's their time. I think Italy got bronze last year.
Yeah.
I think they have a great shot. Alessandro Moressi just did not have a great Worlds last year.
Yeah.
And I'm really pulling for a bounce back from him. Oh, man. And I really want Australia to medal. But there's 4 teams and only 3 spots.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm calling Italy for the win.
What?
Britain in second. And Australia with a Kyle Chalmers anchor in third.
US off the podium?
I think the inexperience on the US leaves them just shy of a medal. I think those other teams have a cumulative more experience, and that will show.
I don't think Australia has that many pieces because
you never do. And then Kyle Chalmers splits a 46.
Could split 47. Kyle Chalmers has monster splits. I don't think Jack Cartwright is at Worlds this year, and he split 47 last year. I don't know who else they have. Like they could be like 48, 47, 46. and I see the U.S. Could have all 47s, and potentially a 46 from Ryan Held. I think they're
YanYan,
better than Australia.
I think they are too, but they could get nervous.
I could get nervous.
I think that's my worst pick, but I'm sticking to it. Men's
Hmm.
4x2.
This one, I was more confident in the Great Britain win. This one, I think they're even bigger favorites. And I have the U.S. second, and I was between Australia and South Korea for the bronze, but I do think Australia has more consistency, and South Korea is missing one fourth leg because they have Hwang Sun who's been 144. They have another swimmer who's been 145, and then one that's been 146.1, and then their fourth place finisher was a 148. I just don't think that's going to get the job done. Whereas Australia has Tommy Neal, who split 144. Alexander Graham has been 156 on a flat start. Flynn Southam and Kyle Chalmers, if he swims, it can all be 145. But yeah, Great Britain winning and US getting second.
Yeah. No. The US wins.
What?
In mi opinion. Because we have 3 returning legs from that world champ team, and Luke Hobson is going to slot in for Trenton Julian just fine.
Yeah. And Great Britain has 3 swimmers who have been 143 before. And one who went 143 last year. And Matt Richards has been 144 on a flat start. Whereas
Okay, first of
US
all,
men are
first of all,
144s.
One of those other swimmers who has been 143 last in history, James Guy, went 146.3 last year.
Yeah,
So,
but he
not
went
confident.
145 at trials this year.
Not
I think
confident.
even if he goes like 145, 146, then everyone else goes 143. I do think they could still beat the US.
I think they have a great shot to beat the US, but I think the US are in a great rhythm with that relay. They won 2 titles in the last 2 short course worlds plus a long course title. And it's been the similar group of guys. You know, Carson's been on all of them. Kieran's been on all of them. I think Drew has been on at least 2 of them. So like they are very comfortable with each other, which it's the same. Well, no, it's not the same for Britain. I mean, they're comfortable with each other in a grander sense, but I see the U.S. pulling it off. I think the Brits have a higher ceiling, but I think the U.S. can win in a tight race.
Who do you have for bronze?
I don't know, man.
Doesn't matter.
Australia, because I want Kyle to swim it. I wish South Korea would win just so Loretta's happy. Get bronze. It would be awesome if South Korea got bronze, but yeah. Well, all right. Medley relay.
Medley relay. This one I actually have the US winning. And then I've got China for second, and then Italy bronze.
Didn't you say Italy was the favorite like a day ago?
I looked at it and I changed my mind. Because I realized if I have Hunter beating Chekon in the 100 back, he's probably going to be fast on Medley relay. And then Nicolo hasn't looked as good as Nick in the one breast. Dare's faster than whoever Italy has on fly, because I don't think any of them have broken 51. And then Ryan Held has a higher ceiling than Moresi in terms of splits.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what Moresi's fastest split ever is?
47 low.
Gotcha. Interesting. Man. Yeah, this is historically the US's relay. That was the first time. That's not the first time they've ever lost. But, I mean, it's a they haven't won a world title in it in a while, I think, because didn't Britain win it in 19?
Yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah.
So it's going to be a good match. But again, you're going to have Dare on the second leg and perhaps Ryan Held or whoever is swimming really well at the meet on the anchor leg. And not that I don't have faith in them, but that's kind of where Italy was able to hold them off. They obviously kind of made their bread and butter on the first two legs, but oh, it's a tough one. And you have China getting second.
Yeah, because the thing that with me is it comes down to the fly leg. Because backstrokers, Xu Jiayu, Thomas Chekon, and Hunter Armstrong could all possibly be very close to each other. And then Nick Fink, Nicola Martineggi, and Qing Haiyang are all pretty close to each other in terms of personal best. Ryan Held, Alessandro Moresi, and Pan Chenla are also pretty close to each other in terms of best time. But then Dara Rose has broken 51 on the flat start, but neither China nor Italy's 100 flyers have broken 51 before. I think not even 51.5. So I think that's where the US has the advantage.
And I agree with you. Someone said no Held, please. He could not handle the pressure last time. Let's make it clear that he outsplit Italy's freestyler. It was the other legs that got Italy much further ahead, and Moresi just held off. So I don't think that's accurate to say.
I agree. Hellman will be on 5. He beats Rose.
Well, yeah, but that's like true of it. You know, if Murphy beats Hunter, then he'll be on backstroke. Yeah. I mean, I think you earn your spot on the medley relay based on how you do in the individual.
Unless it's Tori Husk versus Gretchen Walsh, which I went on a spiel about in the women's preview.
Yeah, let's not go down that road again. Go watch the women's preview if you want to hear it. This is a tough one. Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to go with China because I went with them for breaststroke and I went with them for backstroke. And if Panzan Lee is having a great meet, I think that if they can hold on the fly leg, that would be sweet to see if an Asian country won at an Asian World Championships.
Yes. The thing with China doesn't have a superstar in the 100 fly, but they are really deep in the event. At their nationals, they had 3 swimmers go 51.7 or faster, I believe.
Dang. I mean, yeah. So if one of those, if they can go a 51.0 and their other 3 legs swim really fast, like swim to their potential, like they could win, I think. So I'm going to go China, USA, Italy. That's my order.
Okay.
That's for my official picks. I'm not confident in my picks, but I think they were fun. Okay. Real quick, let's tackle the mixed relays.
Medley relay, probably US, Australia, China. Freestyle relay.
Whoa, one at a time.
Not in that order, but I'm saying like the contenders. I think the US wins. I could see China looks really good in this relay as well. I could see them getting second. It's interesting because I think they're both going to go male, male, female, female. But Australia, they're probably going to, because they don't have a good male backstroker, so they're probably going to go female, male, male, female.
They have Isaac Cooper.
Yeah, but Kaylee McEwen's a much better option.
Okay, fair enough. But they have... So then you think Australia is going to go female, male, male, female?
Yes. That's what they've done for the last 2 years.
Who's Matt Temple swims fly?
Yeah, Matt Temple fly.
And Zach on breaststroke?
Zach on breast. Yeah. I feel like if Zach Stubblety-Cook is on form, which he's pretty inconsistent, then they could potentially...
I guess that won them silver last year.
Yeah. But, like, for some reason he swims better on this relay than he does on the men's medley relay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okay, I mean, yeah, that's a good relay. I think US wins this relay.
Yeah.
I think if they go male, female,
Yeah.
they have a lot of depth and a lot of really good swimmers in
Mhm.
those strokes. Who did you say for bronze? Or who the other team that
Silver,
looked?
China. They'll probably go
China.
female as well.
I think they could, again, if they're on form, they could give US a run.
Yes. Yes.
Who's their? Oh, they have a ton of freestylers. Yeah.
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 Yang Zhengzhen.
So yeah, I think they could look really good, and then yeah, I think Australia could sneak in for third. The Netherlands was only 2/10 off of
Yeah.
Australia last year,
Yeah.
also using a female, male, female.
I think if China's significantly off form, or if Zach Cook has a really bad breaststroke swim, I could see the Netherlands sneaking in for bronze.
Yeah. Well, and then Britain, they don't have a breaststroker.
James Wilby is not bad of a breaststroke,
Oh,
but
Italy
they don't have backstroke.
was only, so there were two teams that were 1/10 behind the Netherlands, and that was Britain and Italy last year.
Yeah, but the Italian women aren't very good.
Yeah, and I guess we've established that the Italian men will not be as good in our scenario. Okay, so mixed medley, we'll leave. Yeah, I'm U.S., China, Australia.
Yeah.
Mixed free.
Mixed free, I'm going U.S. I mean, not U.S. Australia for gold and the world record. U.S. for second, and then I'm in between Great Britain and China for bronze. And I think I'm leaning towards China because I have more confidence in their female freestylers.
Who? Britain has Freya.
Freya and Anna Hopkin. Hopkin had that
Oh,
monster 52 split in Tokyo, but wasn't near that last year.
man, China really took a dump last year. They have to be better than that this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Australia is hard gold. They could literally use so many people and just own. I really hope Kyle Chalmers swims the 4x2. He probably won't though. I like US for silver. Canada was silver last year, but they will not be as strong. Although, if that's a relay they want to choose to focus on, if they go Josh and Javi like they did last year, and then
I think they'll go Ruslan this year because he's been 48 too.
Yeah, they have a good male contingent for sprints.
Because their women are better than their men, but this year I think their male freestylers, their top two male freestylers are better than their female freestylers. Because who would be the two women on this relay? Summer McIntosh and Maggie McNeil. And I don't think Summer McIntosh would be putting too much stock on this relay with her schedule. And it's also not an Olympic relay.
Okay, but the thing is, if you're not putting someone on a relay at this level if you're trying to medal to be like, hey, take it easy. Like if Summer and Maggie swam it, I think they would go all in. They would try their best.
But I don't think Summer would swim this relay. That's what I'm saying.
I agree, but if you put Maggie and Summer on this relay, that's a really good relay.
It is, but it's not a solid medal contender. Like they could get a bronze.
Well, they probably weren't picked to get silver last year, but they beat us.
Yeah, and last year they had Penny Alexiak, who's better than all the U.S. She's the reason why Canada keeps on beating the U.S. in these freestyle relays, and she's not here.
So true. Yeah. Anyway, this is hypothetical. Yeah, Australia gold, U.S. silver. Who's China's second male freestyler?
Wang Haoyu. He's 17 and he went 47.8 in March.
I would at this point I would probably go with Britain. just because I think they have a little more consistency all around.
Now you're
against
pulling the
China.
consistency card against China.
Yep.
After talking about their home continent advantage.
Yeah, but it's the mixed 400 freestyle relay. Anything can happen.
Okay.
Fine, I'll go with China. I want China to win as many medals as they can at this meet.
Honestly, same. I'm just skeptical, but you know what they say: if you don't expect much, you won't be disappointed.
It's true. It's true. All right, that is our men's preview for the 2023 World Championships, along with the mixed relays, which we threw in. Thanks for joining YanYan and I. Stay tuned on Thursday for our 2023 SwimSwam Fantasy Draft for the World Championships, which YanYan and I both participated in. And we'll see you Saturday night for the first prelim session of these World Championships from Fukuoka. YanYan, thanks for joining me. Everyone, commenters and listeners, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.